everybody, welcome to my channel, The Intuitive Alchemist. If you're new here, hi. I hope that you enjoy the stuff that you see next. And if you're someone who's already seen some videos and is returning, we're glad to have you again. I'm going to do a shadow work today for my series Step Into the Void, but it's going to be collective shadow work. This is something that, I don't know, it's just been picking at my brain that it might be a cool thing to do, and I, got out my tarot cards a little bit ago and asked, should I film that today? I'd kind of been putting it off. I was supposed to film it and get it up this past Sunday, and it's Wednesday now, so the cards told me, yeah, do it. Don't get off the wave that's happening. Keep yourself in that tower energy. So that's what I'm trying to do, trying to be the Hierophant, take my cycles as they're coming and roll with them. So we're gonna do a reading for you guys. I'm gonna ask for a topic. What deck do I want to use? I think I'm gonna use my Witch's Familiar Runic Oracle deck. I love it, and it matches the color vibes. I'm sitting in my living room right now, and part of why I've been avoiding doing it is I tried to make a whole separate space where I could have room to shoot and do whatever I wanted, painting, crafting, whatever, without animals around, without all the hair and everything. But what ended up happening is it just felt like a chore to go to another room to do something, and also I felt bad for leaving my dogs for any amount of time. They're very spoiled, they get a lot of attention, and they know I'm in the house when I'm up there, and sometimes they'll whine or cry, or they'll misbehave to try and get my attention. So I don't know, I just decided, why not just do it like this? It looks cute and it's easy for me to do. I don't think you guys really care either way. So let's just jump in. So I'm gonna try and shuffle these a little. Okay, I'm gonna ask, give us a topic, a focus. Collectively, what should everyone be sort of internally seeking within themselves? Let me see if I can. There we go, that's better. Let you guys channel some energy into the cards. Shadow work for the collective. Where do we begin? This is Manas. I really should start looking up the pronunciations for these. One day I'll remember to do that. So let's look up what it says in the book. Of course oh, there it is. Didn't go back far enough. Okay. The keenly intelligent meerkat finds joy in family and kin. Each individual contributes their own strengths to the betterment and success of the clan and society. Wow, that sounds pretty on brand for a collective message. Lessons learned by one generation are then passed down to those that follow, continuing to strengthen and protect the clan. As much as Manez speaks of the joy of clan and kinship, this rune represents the rational mind and intelligence rather than emotion and instinct. When you're presented with this rune, it is time to leave emotions behind and return to the rational. It references the seed of divine intelligence in the human soul and our united collective potential. This is a time for the mind, memory, and learning. So there is a lot in the spiritual community right now. I feel like a lot of people are talking about and kind of confirming that there is a sort of mass ascension, a mass awakening happening right now. And Lionsgate has, just happened. I don't know exactly when it ends. It might still be occurring today, but there's been a lot changing and shifting in a lot of people. I mean, it's been reflected in mostly all planes, I think. In society, in politics, and family, religion, there's just been a lot going on, a lot shifting, a lot moving. And I think that we need to get to a place where we're engaging our curiosity and we're striving for finding solutions to things rather than being focused on how this affects only me, how this makes me feel. It's important to know those things too, but it's also important to then contextualize and balance your worldview with other perspectives and with empathy. So we're definitely in a time when things are pretty tense right now, and that's, again, in many different, genres of life. This tension is kind of creeping into all the cracks and crevices of our society, even globally. And, something has got to give at some point. There's some type of huge shift happening. And to get through it, the best thing that we can do is try to get back to being rational and being curious and honoring our emotions, but not being ruled by our emotions. And so because this is shadow work, I'm going to read the reverse too. So in reverse, this rune represents depression, blindness, self-delusion, bigotry, and intellectual arrogance. Wow, we've got plenty of that going on. So it gives you also a little magical workings thing that you could do with the rune itself, which is this little symbol up here. And it says what you can do is use this rune as an aid to access the collective unconscious of Earth and humanity. Draw it in the sand at the beach or in the dirt when forest bathing. When forest bathing. That's what it says. What is forest bathing? Okay, now I have something to look up. So our topic, we want to be intelligent, we want to be rational, we want to be in touch with all the things around us, not just stuck in our own little bubbles. We want to start to reach a point where we're more interconnected and where intersectionality is just the norm and not something to have controversial debate about. So let's then ask, what can we do to help us stay rational? And I'm going to use my Alchemy deck. For this one. This is the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck and guidebook, written and illustrated by Kim Kranz. She's one of my favorite tarot creators. She does oracles as well. And this one is about alchemy, which, if you don't know, is basically just an umbrella term for the way life and existence kind of works, the way everything works, just the root of, it's very sciencey and theoretical and also philosophical, very philosophical. Okay, and these are the cards I had. Don't feel like I need to look at these again. So, we're gonna mix them back in. You guys can't see it, but behind this camera, I have like T-Rex arm going on with this guy. Okay, and then I like to just... There we go. Oh, that one came right out. That one jumped. I'm gonna shuffle a little more. Oh. Alright, that felt like the end. Okay. Oh, wow. Ah! Oh, wow. Okay. All right, so our first card is Blood. And this card is all about being present, being in the moment, but mostly like seeing to your needs. Like self-care is a form of alchemy. You are a vessel that is held together by chemical bonds. And when you're, a complex being that has all these different chemical reactions occurring, thousands per millisecond inside of you all the time, that takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of, energy. That's what it all comes down to. And we get our energy in a variety of ways, but we don't do well when we don't take care of those needs. And part of being able to get out of our subconscious mind, to get out of being tied up in reactionality rather than rationality, is that we do need to take care of the vessels that we're in so that they can chemically function the way that they need to. Our brain is equipped to help us process through the world that we live in, but it has a lot of needs and high expectations. It is a high maintenance thing. And it's really hard in this society that we're in to take care of those needs. There's a lot of obstacles all the time, but we still have to try. We have to do our best. It's hard, and it shouldn't be, but it is, because that's just the reality that we exist in. So getting to a point where we can find a way to carve out time for our needs, to prioritize just watering, feeding yourself. Like, imagine if you were a plant and you took care of you, right? Okay, imagine you're actually a plant and you're taking care of this plant, right? How do you think your plant is looking? If you're a plant and you're taking care of yourself, how are you looking with the way you've been doing it so far? And then allow that visual to kind of guide you, like, okay, how much do I need to really invest in this? How much is this for me? How much does it resonate? Not all of this will resonate with everybody, but, I'm finding it to be pretty, we do struggle, even societally as a collective, we struggle a lot with taking care of our own people. We struggle with taking care of all people. We just struggle to just be decent human beings who don't hoard resources. So, on that note, so the next card is the Void. And this is just, I love this card. And I know it's totally blank and there's technically nothing on it, but like, that's the thing. So the Void is very representative of the subconscious. It's representative of things that are unknown. It's representative of all things ever. The Void is like, you know, staring into a black hole. It's something that you can only truly know through your own unique experience, and it'll be different for everybody. So I think part of what will help us, you know, with getting that energy from the meerkat and being in touch with, you know, our intellect, is that we can't be so scared of the unknown. We have a lot of fear. We have a lot of anger. We have a lot of, like, we're kind of societally shut off from our subconscious. And when you don't actually know your subconscious, that means it can sort of like hijack and take over, and it's doing it to try and protect you because it doesn't know any better. But it's because you don't communicate with that part of yourself that you're not able, you know, to maintain a calm head in those situations, because your fight or flight will just kick in instantly. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's not so good. So remaining balanced in that aspect. The Void is also kind of, to me, like the shadow work card. So doing this, if you're here and you're doing this, you're already doing part of the work, right? You're helping take care of your brain, your spirit, yourself. And this one, oh wow, so many beautiful cards. This one I have not gotten before, so I will need to actually refer to the book and see what it says. But what a beautiful card. A lot of moon energy happening right here. Silver is a very spiritual metal. All metals are spiritual, but silver especially is associated with quite a lot. And then we've got, this is kind of reading to me like, you know, cyclic, Ouroboros type vibes. And I think that's Virgo, but I don't know, because I'm not that big into astrology. That is something I need to work on. So let's take a look in the book and see. XXV. Silver. Okay. So, oh, my nails are like silver and sparkly. We match. Amidst its upper echelon status, silver shines eternally in second position. It is the lesser sibling, the one that's not quite there yet. A true alchemist does not resist this truth, but rather studies its subtle implications and its wisdom. Silver requires polishing, or the surface tarnishes over time. Mirrors require cleaning, or the image clouds and distorts. Whereas gold sustains its own malleable radiance, silver asks for our participation. We must work at it. Don't give up now. Silver wants to build relationships. Like the moon, a mirror, or a poem, let it reflect an image back. With an open heart and one more moment of willingness, the seemingly cold, stark surface of silver opens into the imaginal realm. What is there? Your own vastness, the mysteries that beckon you on moonlit nights. Through our daily devotion to silver, we find the truest gold. Okay, so, I mean, it's like, it's all jiving, right? Because we were just talking about, you know, the subconscious and the body. I mean, this is really like mind, body, soul here. Mind, body, soul. You know, the subconscious and the body. And then you have the soul here. And this is all about doing that work, right? Going into the unknown, being open, having your heart be open to whatever messages are trying to come through to you, being open to learning new things, maybe new routines. But mostly it's also about realizing that, we're not perfect, right? And we require maintenance right now. We're at a point where there are a lot of things that are going kind of in wonky directions. There's a lot of big energy kind of cooking, and I think a lot of people are sensitive to it. They're feeling it, and this makes people reactionary. And part of ascension is the triggering of a lot of past energies that need to be processed and dealt with before we can actually move into that ascension. So until you go into the void, right? Until you go about maintaining yourself just holistically, there's always going to be something to work on. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much work you do, there's always going to be more, because that's just the beauty of the universe, is that it's so vast, and there are so many possibilities, and there are so many different perspectives and viewpoints and ways to interact and know the world, that there's never an end to the journey unless you're the one who puts that roadblock in front of yourself. So also, we were talking about bubbles earlier, being in your own bubble, how that's not the greatest. This is almost kind of like a broken bubble, like a popped bubble, right? Because you can't really see reflections and stuff if there's just a bubble that's covering the surface and keeping it kind of distorted and hidden from you. So you gotta pop your bubble. This card is also a gorgeous card. I've only gotten it a couple of times, so I'm definitely going to pull the book out here. But it's the separation card, which is gorgeous to me because it feels almost like when you're looking at the birds, they're pulling away from each other, but they're still connected to each other. So it's sort of like about the balance of things, right? Each thing can be its own thing. The you that's here, the you that's in the shadow, the you that's in the higher self. Those are separate things when you really think about it, but they're interwoven, they're interconnected, and each thing has value on its own. And when you can understand that, and then you can fully interpret both things as needed, and they can be their own things, which then come together to work in harmony, that is like ideally where you want to be, where we want to be. So that's just what I got intuitively off the image. But let's get the book out and see what the book says. Oh my gosh. It's like way in the back. Okay, separation. Differentiation, divide to cut away. Separatio is the great alchemical operation of the sword. It occurs when substances are pulled apart for their higher good, either willingly or unwillingly. The fissure may take place suddenly with a swift blow of the axe, or slowly over time with a dull blade. No matter how separatio occurs, it will likely be a painful process for all involved. Images of swords and knives, battles, rebellion, breakups, divorce, and atom splitting are expressions of separatio. I don't know if it's separatio. It's probably separatio. The good news is that separatio prepares the individual for a more conscious union down the line. Like I was saying, because then you can work. Oh my God. Did I get it or did I get it? It releases stagnant energy and allows the parts to see themselves as individuals. So the mirror. So this is like the two reflections here, right? You need to be able to see both sides and understand both sides, which is in that unknown, which you have to take care of your body first in order to have enough energy to access this unknown, to then see that reflection, to then get to this point. And then the next card makes total sense, because this card, the Oil of Vitriol, this is a card that's all about your own like self-esteem, your self-confidence. Are you the lion roaring, and scaring away? Are you the one whose heart chakra is balanced and open, who's like earthly and grounded, who's strong and is sure of themselves? Or are you the thing over here getting yelled at? Are you hiding in the shadows? Are you scared and anxious? You have to know, and that's two sides of the same coin. We have that imagery again. Each card is so interconnected. I love it. But you really, the gold comes from the middle of both of these, right? It comes from the middle, the joining of the two things. It comes from being balanced, right? You don't want to fall too much into ego that you become some kind of asshole, but you also don't want to be so far on the side of being the victim that you lose yourself in the void. Aha! Wow. The ether. So this card is about, you do part of taking care of body and part of taking care of mind, right, is dealing with our self-esteem, our traumas that usually have lowered that self-esteem, and being able to really trust yourself enough to help yourself, I guess. That's what I'm getting. I've never even thought that before or said that before, so that's interesting. Maybe that resonates with somebody. Yeah, I feel pretty done with that. And then the last one, the peacock's tail, which again is about the confidence and everything. But you'll see it's got all the colors of the rainbow, the chakra, it's got the moon going, there's a little pearl in the middle, it's got these rings and rings. And I also haven't dealt much with this card. I'm getting a lot of really cool new cards out with you guys today. So I'm going to get into the book and see what it says. But just off the imagery, this seems like the end result of all of this hard work, the end result of doing all of this, if we put our minds to it, will be, a beautiful arrangement of alignment. Which is a weird little thing to say, but it had a good mouthfeel. So this is LV, so that's all the way in the back. The peacock's tail. Yes, I was right. Completion. This is like a completion card. The peacock's tail is a sacred image in alchemy. The mesmerizing display of tail feathers opens to mark the alchemist having shifted from single to multi-perspective. What was I talking about earlier with the intersectionality, right? Being able to connect to each other, right? Being able to realize, yes, we are separate, yes, we have differences, but really we're all the same thing. And then being confident in that while also being balanced enough that we all can get along and help each other out. This is a great achievement. The alchemist has opened 1,000 sets of eyes instead of one. They've discarded black and white thinking and allowed the full spectrum of colors, nuances, and solutions to come into the fold. Creative solutions to complex social and political polarities can be found in this sacred space. The force field of possibilities has opened, and the alchemist has entered a new paradigm belonging to multiplicity, dimensionality, and inclusion. Utilize this perspective for positive change while it lasts. Falling back into black and white thinking, as any alchemist will do, envision the splendor of the peacock's tail. Each feather contains a shimmering universe of possibility. And so at the end of this, what it's saying is with these cycles, right? We are always in a spiral. We're always kind of time hopping through the present, through the future and the past. And the present is really the merging of those two things together. The present is where the past and the future are always happening simultaneously. And so we have this incredible ability to really fully process through and go through. Look at when you lay these all out, you get this beautiful cycle that just ends up making like perfect sense. Is this gonna fit together perfectly? Because that would be almost perfectly. We're missing one card. Let's see what's on the bottom or the top. Which one? Ooh, I chose the top, and I got the card The Uncreated. So this future, so this is again the present, the uncreated, like that balancing of the two things. This is just such a beautiful spread, guys. And this was all you guys. You guys channeled this. You know, and we're going to be going through these cycles repeatedly, you know, just going through processing. Life is cyclic, but there's also beauty and comfort in that, because as much as we know the bad stuff's always going to happen, it means the good stuff is also always going to happen. And we're going to learn from the bad, and we're going to be rejuvenated and refreshed by the good. And at the end of the karmic cycle, we're all the better for it. Okay, guys, that's all I have for today. That was a pretty good reading, and check out some of my other videos. I've got a lot of other series where I do different stuff. I'm really trying to kind of pump out content and get things kind of rolling so there's enough. I'm a binger, so when I find someone, if I can't binge their videos, I don't watch them. So I know that I need to just get content, but you know, if you're someone who's, you know, hanging in there during the beginning of all this, bless you. Thank you. And, you know, keep hanging in there, because I'm bound and determined, and my guides are very pushy. So bye, everybody.